Hello, my name is Sanaya Staples, and I did my project on Booker T. Washington. Booker T. Washington was a critical figure in American history. He was known for his role in advancement of African Americans during the late 19th century and early 20th centuries. He was born into slavery. Washington rose to become a leading educator, author, and advisor to multiple U.S. presidents. His life and works were really marked by his dedication to education and just empowerment of African Americans. Booker T. Washington empowerment culminated in the founding of the Tuskegee Institute, and it was a vocational school, and it was basically aimed for just practicing skills and just education for the former slaves and their descendants. His philosophy was to self-help, racial unity, and accommodation to the social realities of segregation, and it really just made him a controversial but undeniably significant figure in the struggle of the civil rights. And this presentation will just dive into all of Booker T. Washington's life, his works, his major works, the themes he explored, and his lasting legacy that he left behind. Booker T. Washington was born April 5th, 1856, in a small cabin on the Burroughs Plantation in Hales Fort, Virginia. He was born into slavery, like I said. His early years were marked by hardship and limited opportunities. After the Civil War, Washington's family gained freedom and they moved to Maiden, West Virginia, where he worked in salt furnaces and coal mines to help support his family. Despite the grueling labor, Washington was determined to get an education. He attended school when he could and later enrolled at the Hampton Normal and Agricultural Institute in Virginia, where he excelled and graduated with honors in 1875. And I have just a picture of him younger. During his early years, Booker T. Washington experiences formative years instilled in him a strong belief in the power of educational and self-improvement, which would later become central themes in his life work. Booker T. Washington's personal life was filled with both triumphs and challenges. He was married 3 times. His first wife was named Fanny Ann Smith, and she passed away in 1884 with 2 years after their marriage. He then married Olivia A. Davison in 1885, who was a fellow educator and played a significant role in the early development of the Tuskegee Institute. Unfortunately, Olivia died in 1889, and now Washington's third wife was to Margaret James Murray in 1893, and they remained together until his death. Booker T. Washington had 3 children, Portia Booker T. Jr. and Ernest Davison Washington. Despite his demanding career, Washington was a devoted family man. His personal life was deeply intertwined with his professional endeavors, as he often relied on the support and partnership of his wives in his educational and social reform efforts. And I have a picture of his children, and I believe that this is Portia and this is Booker T. Jr. and this is Ernest Davison Washington. Booker T. Washington lived on the campus of the Tuskegee Institute, where he served as a principal. The proximity allowed him to be deeply involved in the daily operations and growth of the institution. Washington was known for his tireless work ethic and often traveled extensively to raise funds and support for Tuskegee and other education initiatives. I have a picture of him in class and everything. I can't really see which one is him, but. And just a little career overview. Booker T. Washington's career was marked by his dedication to education and the advancement of African Americans. After graduating from the Hampton Institute, he was recommended to head the newly established Tuskegee Normal and Industrial Institute in Alabama in 1881. And under his leadership, Tuskegee grew from a modest school into a renowned institution that provided practical and vocational education to African Americans. And I have the institute when they were learning there. And Washington became a prominent public figure advocating for the economic reliance and vocational training of African Americans. He believed that by acquiring practical skills and demonstrating their economic value, African Americans could gradually gain respect and improve their social status. And this philosophy was famous Atlanta Compromise speech in 1895, where he urged African Americans to focus on self-improvement rather than immediate social integration. So yeah, like I said, this is a picture of the Institute. Up from Slavery. This is his most famous work, an autobiography that chronicles his life from slavery to becoming a leading African American educator and advocate. The Future of the American Negro, 1899. In his book, Washington outlines his views on the future of African Americans and the importance of education and vocational training. And also, The Character Building in 1902 is a collection of his speeches and writings that emphasize the importance of character and moral development. And number 4, My Larger Education, that was made in 1911. This book provides further insights into his philosophy and experiences, expanding on the themes introduced in Up from Slavery. The Story of My Life and Work, that was made in 1900, another autobiographical work that just dives into his early life education and the founding of the Tuskegee Institute. And here are some of his awards and honors. Booker T. Washington received numerous awards and honors throughout his lifetime for his contributions to education and the advancement of African Americans. And some of the recognitions just include the honorary degrees, invitations to the White House, introduction to the Hall of Fame for Great Americans, which was in 1945, commemorative food stamp, and numerous buildings and schools named of him in his honor. And a few themes in Washington's works was education as empowerment. He believed that education was the key to improving the lives of African Americans, and he emphasized practical and vocational training as a means to achieve economic independence and self-reliance. He believed that hard work was very important, and he advocated for African Americans to focus on improving themselves through diligence and perseverance. And also economic progress. He argued that economic progress was essential for the advancement of African Americans, and he believed that building a strong economic base would lead to a greater social and political rights. And also character and morality. He believed that he placed a strong emphasis on character and moral development. He believed that integrity, honesty, and ethical behavior were very important in personal successes. And just a few examples from the text was, number 1, education as empowerment. And in his autobiography, Up from Slavery, Washington writes about the importance of education and then self-reliance and hard work. Washington emphasizes self-reliance in Up from Slavery as well. And he stated, "I have learned that success is to be measured not so much by the position that one has reached in life as by the obstacles which he has overcome while trying to succeed." And also in his famous Atlanta Compromise speech, Washington advocates for economic progress. The opportunity to earn $1 in a factory just now is worth more than the opportunity to spend $1 in a opera house. And also Washington's approach to gradualism is evident in the Atlanta Compromise speech. He stated, "In all things that are purely social, we can be as separate as the fingers, yet one as the hand in all things essential to mutual progress." And lastly, in Up from Slavery, Washington stresses the importance of character. He stated, "Character, not circumstances, makes the man." And just a representation of the era, Booker T. Washington works provide a vivid representation of the era in which he lived, particularly the late 19th and early 20th centuries. This period was really marked by the aftermath of the Civil War and Reconstruction, a time when African Americans were struggling to find their place in a society that was deeply segregated. And post Reconstruction challenges, Washington's works often highlight the difficulties faced by African Americans in the post-Reconstruction South. He describes the harsh realities of racism, economic problems, and limited educational opportunities. For instance, in Up From Slavery, he recounts the struggles of African Americans to gain access to education and economic opportunities. Also, Washington's writing also reflect the impact of Jim Crow laws, which enforced racial segregation in the South. His emphasis on vocational training and economic self-sufficiency can be seen as a response to the legal and social barriers that prevented African Americans from achieving equality. And some more is Washington's approach to accommodation and gradualism reflects the social dynamics of the time. He believed that African Americans should work within the existing social structure to improve their status rather than directly challenging segregation and discrimination. This perspective was controversial and often criticized by other African American leaders like W.E.B. Du Bois. And through his writings, Washington provides a detailed and personal account of the challenges and strategies of African Americans during this era in American history. And I feel as though Booker T. Washington literary style and techniques, his writing often, had a tone that aimed at educating and just instructing his readers. He used his own life as an example to teach lessons about hard work, perseverance, and just self-reliance. I feel like he put a lot of his thought into his books. And like I said, he just made all of his books about him, which makes it so much deeper for African Americans. His influence and legacy: Washington founded the Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, which became a model for vocational education. His emphasis on practical skills and, like I said, self-reliance helped many African Americans gain valuable training and employment. And Washington was a powerful public speaker and writer. His speeches and books, especially Up From Slavery, reached a wide audience and inspired many to pursue education and self-improvement. And my personal opinion is Booker T. Washington was a pivotal figure in American history. As an educator and leader, he founded the Tuskegee Institute in 1881, emphasizing practical education and vocational training for African Americans. His 1895 Atlanta Compromise speech advocated for economic self-reliance, over immediate social equality, and it was a stance for both influential and controversial. While criticized for accommodating segregationist policies, Washington's words laid the foundation for future civil rights advancements in African American education. His legacy reflects his dedication to improving lives through education and self-reliance. So overall, I think he got the job done. Like, he is a great public figure for us all. In conclusion, Booker T. Washington's legacy stands as a testament to his unwavering commitment to the upliftment of African Americans through education, vocational training, and self-reliance. His pragmatic approach at the Tuskegee Institute provided a foundation for future generations despite criticism of his stance on segregation. Washington's dedication to improving lives and fostering economic independence continues to inspire and influence. His life work underscores the enduring power of education and perseverance in the pursuit of progress and equality. And lastly, here is my works cited page. Thank you for listening, and I hope you guys learned something from it, and I hope you guys enjoyed it.